The city skyline glittered like 1,000 scattered diamonds as the evening sun dipped behind towering skyscrapers. In a modest apartment on the edge of town, Daniel Parker, a single father in his mid-30s, sat at the small kitchen table, his hands wrapped around a chipped coffee mug. His son, little Ethan, was curled up on the couch with a blanket, drawing pictures of superheroes, oblivious to the weight of the adult world pressing down on them. Daniel sighed, scanning the walls that were lined with framed memories, photos of his late wife, Anna, laughing in sunlit gardens, hugging friends, living moments that now seemed impossibly distant. Life had changed in an instant 3 years ago, leaving him to navigate the twin roles of mother and father, provider and nurturer, often struggling just to pay the rent, let alone dream of anything more. That evening a letter arrived, postmarked from the Parker family's old town, in an envelope so elegant it seemed almost out of place among the bills and flyers. Daniel opened it carefully, revealing an invitation that made his heart skip a beat. The letter was from the reclusive billionaire Alexander Whitmore, a man whose wealth was legendary and whose private life was shrouded in mystery. The words were simple but striking. "Mr. Parker, I would like to meet you. Come to Whitmore Mansion tomorrow at noon." Daniel frowned, unsure why a man of such stature would summon him. And then, almost instinctively, his gaze fell upon Ethan, who looked up at him with curious eyes. "Dad, are we going to meet a real-life king?" he asked, his voice brimming with excitement and innocence. Daniel smiled, masking the mix of hope and apprehension swirling inside him. He didn't know what awaited them, but something about the letter ignited a spark of possibility, a whisper that perhaps life still had surprises to offer. The next day, Daniel parked their old sedan at the foot of Whitmore Mansion, a sprawling estate perched on a hill like a fortress of glass and steel. His heart pounded as they approached the grand doors, where a butler ushered them in with quiet dignity. The interior was breathtaking, vaulted ceilings, gleaming marble floors, priceless art adorning every wall. But it wasn't the luxury that stopped Daniel in his tracks. It was a photograph displayed prominently in the hallway. His wife, Anna's smile frozen in time, hung in a golden frame beside Whitmore's personal collection. Daniel's breath caught, and Ethan clutched his hand tightly. "Dad, that's Mom," the boy whispered. Daniel's mind raced. How could this be? Anna had passed away, and yet here she was, staring back at him from the walls of a billionaire's mansion. Before he could speak, Alexander Whitmore appeared, taller than Daniel had imagined, with sharp eyes that seemed to pierce into the soul. He smiled, calm yet commanding, and gestured for them to sit. "Mr. Parker, thank you for coming. I realize this may be unexpected," he began. Daniel, still staring at the photograph, finally found his voice. Why is my wife's photo in your house?" he asked, a tremor in his tone. Whitmore's gaze softened, and for a moment, the walls of the mansion seemed to fade, replaced by a story that Daniel never could have anticipated. Whitmore took a deep breath, as if weighing his words carefully. "Daniel, what I am about to tell you is difficult, but it's important. I knew Anna before you did. Long before." Daniel's mind spun. 1,000 questions collided at once. How could anyone have known Anna? What did this man want from them? Whitmore leaned forward, his voice dropping to a confidential murmur. She wasn't just remarkable because of her kindness or beauty. She was remarkable because she trusted people in ways very few do, and she confided in me about something she couldn't tell anyone else. Something about the future, about you and Ethan. Daniel felt as if the floor had dropped beneath him. He sank into the plush chair, his thoughts tangled in grief, disbelief, and a flicker of hope. Ethan, sensing the gravity of the moment, clutched Daniel's sleeve. Whitmore continued, "I kept her memory alive here, Daniel, because I promised her I would, and now I need your help." Daniel's brow furrowed. Help from him? But before he could ask, Whitmore handed him a small envelope, sealed with a wax emblem bearing the Whitmore crest. Inside were documents, photographs, and a letter in Anna's handwriting. Daniel's hands shook as he unfolded the letter, recognizing her flowing script instantly. Her words were filled with love, guidance, and a request. Daniel never could have imagined She had arranged a plan for Ethan's future, one that involved this very man, Alexander Whitmore, and a secret she had kept to protect them. The room seemed to grow warmer, the tension shifting to curiosity and a sense of destiny. Daniel read the letter aloud to Ethan, whose eyes widened with every word, his young mind struggling to grasp the magnitude of what they were discovering. Whitmore watched silently, his expression unreadable, until Daniel finished. There was a long pause, filled only by the distant ticking of an ornate clock. Finally, Whitmore spoke, his tone calm yet insistent. "Daniel, Anna wanted you to know that the life you're living, struggling, sacrificing is not all she envisioned. There's something you must do, something that only you and Ethan can accomplish. Together." Daniel's head swirled. The weight of Anna's absence collided with the promise of something extraordinary. And in that moment he realized that his life, which had seemed defined by loss, was about to change in ways he could never have predicted. As the evening sun cast long shadows across the mansion, Daniel felt a spark ignite, a mixture of fear, hope, and determination. Whatever Whitmore had in mind, whatever secret Anna had left behind, it was clear that their journey was only beginning. And deep down, he knew one thing with absolute certainty. He would face it all for Ethan, for Anna's memory, and for a chance to uncover a truth that could alter their lives forever. Daniel's hands trembled as he held Anna's letter, heart pounding with a mixture of grief and awe. Whitmore's gaze was steady, almost expectant. "Daniel," he said softly, "Anna entrusted me with something extraordinary, her final wish. She wanted you and Ethan to have the life she always dreamed for you, and now it's time." Confused but compelled, Daniel followed Whitmore through the mansion, past galleries of Anna's photos, until they reached a private study. There laid out were plans, legal documents, and keys to properties and trusts Anna had secretly arranged. Whitmore explained that Anna had invested her savings wisely, establishing a trust for Ethan's education, health, and dreams. "She believed in you," Whitmore said, "and she trusted me to guide you both here when the time was right." Daniel's eyes welled with tears, overwhelmed by the love that had transcended death. Ethan ran to the window, spotting a garden Anna had adored, now tended by Whitmore's staff. "Mom would have loved this," he whispered. Daniel knelt, hugging his son tightly. In that moment, the mansion didn't feel cold or imposing. It felt alive with Anna's spirit. Whitmore smiled, watching the father and son, then handed Daniel a final envelope. Inside was a note from Anna: "Live boldly, love endlessly, and never forget that we are always together." Daniel felt a surge of hope. The struggle, the pain, the loss, all had led to this moment of unimaginable blessing. He looked at Ethan, then at Whitmore, and finally at the photograph of Anna on the wall. "Thank you," he whispered. Whitmore nodded, a quiet understanding passing between them. And as father and son left the mansion that day, Daniel knew life had changed forever, not just through wealth, but through love, trust, and a mother's undying devotion.